on, Pooh, said Christopher Robin. Where are we going? Said Pooh, hurrying after him. Nowhere, said Christopher Robin. So they began going there. They walked on, thinking of this and that, and by they came to an enchanted place on the very top of the forest called Galleon's Lap. Being enchanted, its floor was not like the floor of the forest, gorse and bracken and heather, but close-set grass, quiet and smooth and green. It was the only place in the forest where you could sit down carelessly without getting up again almost at once and looking for somewhere else. Sitting there, they could see the whole world spread out until it reached the sky, and whatever there was, all the world over, was with them in Galleon's lap. Here's the memorial. In the film of Goodbye Christopher Robin, in the final scene, A.A. Milne and Christopher Robin are sitting here and looking out over this amazing view. A.A. Milne lived in London, but then in 1925 they bought Cotchford Farm, and it was really being down here that inspired A.A. Milne to write Winnie the Pooh. And I'm going to read you from my mother's book about E.H. Shepherd, the illustrator, coming here. The whole Shepherd family went down to Cotchford for the day to give the artist a chance to sketch and explore the actual setting of the book, all the spots where the things happened. If Milne seemed reticent and rather stiff in Mallard Street, that's where they lived in London, it was not so in Sussex that spring. He was a different man, Shepherd remembered many years later, going over the ground and showing me the places. Milne and Shepherd walked up to Gill's Lap across open country that's more heathland than forest, over dry golden grass between bent dead bracken, tangled gorse and heather. They saw, as Pooh and Christopher Robin did, the whole world spread out until it reached the sky. Just another little bit from the book here. Part of the strength and charm of the stories comes from the juxtaposition of the toy animal and the forest. Milne writes something simple, such as Pooh was walking through the forest one day, humming proudly to himself, and Shepherd shows a jaunty toy bear walking through the real Ashdown forest over real rough grass with real trees in the background. Eeyore's house!
これはすごい。
待って、私映ってない。映ってない。葉月さん映ってない。こうか。
Pooh had just come to the bridge, and not looking where he was going, he tripped over something, and the fir cone he was holding jerked out of his paw and into the river. "Bother," said Pooh, as it floated slowly under the bridge. And he went back to get another fir cone, but then he thought he would just look at the river instead, because it was a peaceful sort of day. So he lay down and he looked at it, and the river slipped slowly away beneath him. And suddenly there was his fir cone slipping away too. "That's funny," said Pooh. "I dropped it on the other side, and it came out on this side. I wonder if it would do it again." It did! It kept on doing it. Then he dropped in two at once and leant over the bridge to see which of them would come out first. And one of them did. But But as they were both the same size, he didn't know if it was the one which he'd wanted to win or the other one. So the next time he dropped one big one and one little one. And the big one came out first, which is what he'd said it would do. And the little one came out last, which is what he'd said it would do. So he'd won twice. And that was the beginning of the game called Pooh Sticks. A.A. Milne hadn't realised that his son, Christopher Robin, was going to become someone that everyone would know about. And it was quite tough for a little boy to be in the public glare. So he made a real point of coming to an end and not continuing to write the stories. And so just at the very end of my mother's book, she writes, "It was time to leave the forest. As Christopher Robin said to Pooh, I'm not going to do nothing anymore. Never again. Well, not so much. They don't let you. This is not sentimental. It's an occasion for real feeling, and if we cannot accept it, it's our fault, not Milne's. It's only in the memory that a little boy and his bear will always be playing, as the final often quoted words have it. To stop while the going was good, that was the point."